Time for Dart Talk. Brought to you by thedartzone.com. Stay in the zone. Thedartzone.com is an official Cosmo distributor and Windy City Fabricators, America's premier fabricators of orthotics and prosthetics. And Redwood Darts, America's newest tungsten darts. Stand straight and tall and hit them all. Redwood Darts. And now, here are your hosts, Mystery Mark and Steve P.
Okay, welcome to Dart Talk.
Hello, hello.
How you doing?
Good, good. How are you?
Good. Dart Talk, brought to you by the Dart Zone.
Stay in the zone.
TheDartZone.com is an official Cosmo distributor. Also, many thanks. Windy City Fabricators, Redwood Darts. January, what is it, 21st?
21st is correct.
2015.
Yes.
We're going to call this the Hangover Week show. I think everybody, with everything that's been going on the last couple of weeks, the beginning of January is kind of like the best week. 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 4 weeks. Best 4 weeks of TV sports. Middle of December until the hangover week, after the top four in the football.
After the championship games in the football.
Yeah, the championship games in the football.
Yeah, now you have a week off until the Super Bowl. And
let's get on.
all the dart playoff, the major dart championships are over. And
yeah, it's a lull. It's a little bit of a lull. I mean, the Diddle Tour started. There were some events over the last couple of weeks. But for big time darts and stuff, I mean, it hasn't really cranked up. It's I don't know. It's just kind of weird that it ends up the biggest tournament of the year is the first week of the year.
Yeah.
I don't know how NASCAR does it. They have to manufacture interest till the next Daytona.
Well,
right?
They got millions of people that manufacture interest in that stupid sport.
Stupid sport?
Yeah, I think it's just dumb.
I don't know. I've
never been a NASCAR fan. I don't get it.
Jeff was talking about last week. We had Jeff Smith on the show, Lakeside semifinalist. He did a nice job, and I thanked him for coming on. I thought it was a great interview. But he was saying that the PDC audiences kind of go there to party, and the BDO audiences kind of go there to watch darts. I think a NASCAR audience is probably like maybe 75-25.
Oh,
people are there tailgating, having a good time. It's an event. It's a party. So's a football game.
Right.
I was talking to somebody. I'm like, when the Bears won their Super Bowl, I was living in L.A., and I can only remember 3 plays.
Were you a Bear fan then, too?
Yeah.
You had to be.
Yeah, I was watching. There was like a Bear bar in the San Fernando
I was only
Valley.
16, so, I remember...
I partied so much that by the time the game started, I really, and I think like if you ask somebody who won the Super Bowl last year, people have to think about it because it's an event and it's a party centered around an event, right? The World Series isn't really like that, but
no, NASCAR's a party centered around an event.
Yeah, that's what it always struck me.
The one thing I would say about NASCAR, even though I don't like it, is I think. A difference is all those people that actually go know what's going on. People go to baseball games just to go and don't really care what's going on.
Oh,
you don't go to a NASCAR. Event.
I don't even know what you could see.
Who knows?
You can't see, except what's right in front of you.
Right.
So you can see like 5% of the track.
Yeah, but the guys that go to like a NASCAR event actually follow it like all year long and know what's going on. The people that go to baseball games are just like, okay, I couldn't tell you whether my team's in first place or last place. I got tickets and I'm having fun.
Well, I don't know how true that is. Some people are like me or like, I'll commentate the whole game. Right.
Well, sure.
But
you're a small percentage.
Yeah, well, that's true. But like the people sitting around me, one time there's like a family from France. decided to go see American baseball, and they didn't understand what a run was. They didn't understand it was 3 strikes and you're out. They didn't, and
they're
they
in
just
town. They got tickets.
ate a lot of hot dogs and bought jerseys and smiled through the whole game.
You're in town. You don't go to a NASCAR event. You go to a NASCAR event because you like the sport.
Yeah.
I don't like the sport, but that's what you do. You go to a baseball game because
how is it a sport
it's
anyway?
a tourist event.
How is racing a car a sport? People that say darts is not a
left
sport,
turn and another left turn.
Yeah, people say darts is not a sport, but then they think NASCAR is a sport. I'm like, no, you're missing something.
Well, I mean,
anyway, I had like a laundry list of weird things to talk about today because
speaking of weird, I would like to know, since I usually know what the background is.
The background.
I'm not exactly sure what this is.
I am Charlie. This is
why are you Charlie?
Well, this is what was. This is in support of the editorial people for the French satirical magazine that got like assassinated at their meeting by people that didn't like their sense of humor.
Yeah,
we're not for that. We're for free speech. You can disagree.
Yes, absolutely.
And you can always email darttalk@gmail.com with your questions and concerns. Your complaints, however, need to go to Sam the Intern at internsareus.us.
And
you can, what was there
The
more?
The views, opinions, rants, and rampages expressed on Dart Talk do not necessarily reflect individually or collectively those of our sponsors, co-sponsors, wannabe hosts, hearing-impaired critics, or those with a penchant for attitudinal dysfunction. We at Dart Talk strive to provide you, the listener, with an educational, entertaining, and fun-filled experience each and every week. If after the show you, the listener, find yourself feeling uneducated, unentertained, and or bored, we at Dart Talk consider that your own problem.
Okay, and we wish you luck with that. Thank you, Aaron. I had a laundry list of stuff because I watched a lot of TV over the weekend, especially the football.
Right.
And there was... It never ceases to amaze me. If you watch NFL Network or you listen to these guys on ESPN, supposed analysts or pundits or what passes for the sports chattering class in this day and age, these guys infuriate me to no end because they literally have no logic. So let me run this by you. You know the football inflation thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Tell everybody who doesn't know what that is. What the issue is.
Well, apparently the Patriots deflated almost all of their footballs.
11 of 12.
In order to give themselves an advantage. Supposedly it's easier to throw, easier to catch. You have your own footballs on the sideline. Indianapolis linebacker picked off a pass and realized that he thought something was wrong, gave it to so-and-so, and they started checking him out. I don't know. They're trying to figure out what happened.
I'll tell you exactly what happened is they deflated all their footballs.
Well, yeah.
And they missed one. But here's the thing. Here's the thing that kills me about ESPN, because I understand that they're, contractually in bed with the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
But if anybody watches NFL coverage, what you will find invariably when they speak about it is that no matter what happens, the best team won is always kind of their attitude. Oh yeah, the refs. The refs were kind of bad, but that wasn't why we lost the game. Blah blah, and that is such BS. So here's the logic from these guys. They're like, well, because the score was like such a blowout, it didn't matter.
True.
Well, that's a logical fallacy. I mean, maybe the score was a blowout because deflating the balls gave them such an advantage that, they killed these guys.
Well, yeah, it's the same
so
thing.
You can't say that.
If you have an advantage on the get-go, and granted, Indianapolis fumbled the punt, muffed the punt to begin with, but all of a sudden you're down 7-0. Then all of a sudden, they get the ball back and they're up 10-0 because...
Well, first 3, then 6, then 13.
Right. So, I mean, yeah, I agree. Eventually, now you're down 10 points. You go into the third quarter, and even though you turn the ball over, a lot of times, defensively you can stop them, get the ball back. But if you have that advantage and then boom, 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 you score 3 touchdowns, they're just saying that the score was...
You've played basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Not
And
very well.
you're not a professional basketball player, but if you've played basketball, you know if there's too much air in the ball. You know the minute you touch it.
Yeah, when it bounces over
When
your
it bounces
head.
over your head, hey, there's too much air in the ball. When you squeeze it and you can move it around like a grapefruit, there's not enough air in the ball. Everybody knows this. I watched Andrew Luck's first pass almost didn't get out of his hand. And I was like, maybe he had the 1 football. They mixed it up. That they said 11 of 12. Maybe they mixed one of the balls up.
There's different balls on the sidelines
Right.
because they're only the New
They
England
must have
balls.
mixed one up.
If the guy doesn't pick the ball off, then nobody's ever going to know because they're only New England's footballs.
Well, yeah, you got to get your hands on one to find out.
Right.
Yeah. But the side judge who brings the football over, who's been handling footballs, you mean to tell me you can't tell?
That was John Madden's point online. The guys handle the balls. How do they not tell?
Well,
But
the only reason I bring this up is because I got a Facebook message from the project. Right, the project is 6'5".
Mm-hmm.
Well, apparently he went to play league darts at some place where the ceiling was 6'7".
oh, really?
So I guess what happened was he was trying to hit tops and he was launching them off the
Off the
ceiling. And I was kind of like, well, okay, home court advantage, when it comes to playing darts is kind of like I don't really know. I mean, there was one place that like deliberately had the line. Actually, 2 places I know of. Deliberately had the line like 3 inches closer.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is that really going to help you more than it helps me? Or are you
It
hoping?
depends. Apparently, on the webcam darts, it was helping some people when they were chucking it from 3 feet away.
Well, okay. I mean, that's just like those guys just jerking around. I mean, snapper heads. But
yeah,
what are you going to do? I mean, it doesn't count for anything anyway.
true.
I mean, you're going to like inflate your stats and actually, what was it? One of the guys on our team was complaining about that. He said he went on webcam darts and people were cheating.
Oh, really? I see. I heard the ass end of that conversation.
Yeah,
I didn't hear the whole thing though. I heard you guys talking about.
Well, apparently, he's playing really well in his basement.
Well,
I don't know. I mean,
most people play really well in their basement.
It got me to thinking. This whole idea that somehow it didn't matter because the score was so much is like. What, are you kidding me?
It does matter. Of
course it
gives
matters.
you an advantage.
It's easier to hold onto the ball.
Yeah.
It's harder to strip the fumble. All this stuff.
Right.
And it was like so stupid that you're pretending it doesn't matter when everybody knows it does.
And to that point, if the game would have been 20-17, it would have been a completely different conversation.
Then where's the NFL?
That's not the point. The point was it gave you an advantage, and you're going against the rules. Regardless of the outcome.
You're deliberately breaking the rules to give yourself an advantage, and then because you took that advantage and won by so much, you say the advantage doesn't count, is like, I don't know where you sell this. I didn't think Indianapolis had a chance of winning that game anyway, and maybe it didn't matter. But don't say that the score proves it didn't matter.
That's just
the kind of
that's the same concept of steroids in baseball. Okay, give you an advantage. Did it give Barry Bonds an advantage to hit 73 home runs? Yes. Was he going to hit 60? Yes. What's the difference? Well, it
10.
And it broke a record, so therefore it's a big deal. But he's vilified now. But like other people that nobody knows whether they did it or not. They made some money, hit 40 home runs or 50 home runs.
Well, he got caught though.
Well, sure. Well, so did New England, but apparently it's not that big of a deal. Is my point. I mean, it's
only not a big deal to people that are like in bed with the NFL.
Well,
and they have the microphone. They have the microphone.
$multi-billion industry.
I know, but they control all the media about the NFL where you don't hear things about games getting fixed and all this other stuff. Nobody's going to say stuff like that because, you're an outlier, right? Like we're outliers or whatever. So, I mean, I just found it like, this is ridiculous. If this is your idea of analysis. Right?
Yeah,
I'm just sort of like, I'm sick of hearing it. They all say it.
I don't necessarily know how you think they should report it, other than,
Well, you should report it that, it's illegal, and it gives you a huge advantage.
Right.
For like 36 hours, people were saying that didn't matter anyway. And I'm like, are you nuts?
Yeah, I
scuffing up a baseball.
Gee, I agree. I agree
does that
with
matter?
you with the point of just because it was a blowout. How can you tell me that had nothing that part of the game had nothing to do with the outcome? If the balls were correctly inflated, would they have won? 35-7 instead of 45-7. I don't know.
Well, I'm sure the Boston.
Score,
I mean, Boston's notorious for this. Isn't Boston where the guy with the little tractor was like plowing the sideline and then made a detour? And then literally in front of everyone, this guy who apparently was an ex-con or something, literally shoveled the spot where they were going to put the ball for the field goal.
One line.
And how do you not flag them for unsportsmanlike conduct, move them out 15 yards and say, I dare you to do that again?
Yeah.
I mean, there's no you get away with it. The Spygate thing I thought was kind of overblown, and they lost draft choices and $500,000.
That's probably what's going to happen now too.
Oh, it's got to be worse. But I mean, it's just kind of funny. I mean, I have heard darters say this, right? If you're not cheating, you're not trying. Which was the whole reason I brought this up, because as dart players, I don't really ascribe to that.
You've talked about dart venues where you've been, where you think they purposely had drafts going through with doors open on purpose, and
I've caught people with the door open, because I just happened to lose the grip on my dart and kind of get off the line, turn around, and there's the guy with the door open, just standing there, and I'm like, Jesus, really?
Yeah.
This is kind of what darts is like around here for me, but we ascribe to fair play, right? And the tournaments that give you a good venue to play where there's not a huge cross draft and all this nonsense that you see in some places, right? Should get credit for that.
Mm-hmm.
The places that give you good conditions to play should be rewarded for that, and the ones that don't should be vilified for it. I'm not going to mention the venue, but somebody was talking. I was talking to somebody about playing at this one place, and I'm like, I don't go there anymore. And the guy's like, why? I'm like, because they have these cheap round wire boards, and I don't want to pick darts off the floor all weekend. I mean, that's just it's like people have to demand what's right, and if they don't demand what's right, then they get what they deserve. And when we come back from this break, I'm going to tell you how the women blew it in the latest battle of the sexes thing that I came up with.
Tom Brady apparently is in the chat.
Oh, is Tom Brady in the chat?
He says, why didn't it help the Colts? And I think we answered that.
Yeah, we answered that.
They have different balls for each sideline.
They had different balls.
Yeah.
They didn't mess with theirs,
But
apparently.
Tom Brady is chiming in to see how this conversation...
Well, hi to Giselle, and we will be right back.
The views and opinions expressed on Dart Talk are those of the hosts. They in no way should be misrepresented, misinterpreted, or made to claim that the universe is against you, your family, your city, or the darting community at large.
Hey, back for the second quarter at Dart Talk, brought to you by the Dart Zone.
Stay in the zone.
TheDartZone.com is an official Cosmo distributor. Also, many thanks, Windy City Fabricators and Redwood Darts, and all the people that help with the show, and you, the listeners. Don't forget you can find us on Stitcher.com, on TuneIn.com, on iTunes, on Facebook, on YouTube. I don't know, underneath the kitchen sink, wherever you happen to find us, we're everywhere. Yeah, before we get on to this ridiculous stuff about AstroTurf, two things. One was the Green Bay game.
Mm-hmm.
Who was it I said, we were talking about the PDC, I think, and I said, this loss is going to really hurt this guy for a long time. I forget what match we were talking about, that he would take it harder.
Yeah.
The Packers, I just fell apart.
Well, they imploded in 4 minutes.
I watched a tape because they're replaying the game, somewhat condensed format on NFL Network. Mm-hmm. The last play of the game, I counted 11 guys, 11, within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage. So, that was a check down play. They only had 3 guys out in the pattern. They ran the tight end up the middle seam, and the 2 wideouts went out. Everyone stayed in, and he got rid of the ball right away, and there's no over-the-top help. It's one-on-one, inside, easy score. Mm-hmm. Easy score. And I'm like, I don't know what Green Bay's thinking. I think that the team must have, went mental.
Well, yeah, the coaches, too, because who's calling that play? I mean, who's calling that defense? It was just... It was a series of events that just kept, pounding them in the head, and they just kept losing confidence over and over again. It was just like...
So you compared it to the Bartman game.
Yeah. Because I think everybody's going to blame the guy that muffed the onside kick.
He's a player. He's not a fan in the stands.
That's... The reason I compared it was it's a series of events after that add to the fact, yes, the guy screwed up. Bartman screwed up, but the difference is even in Bartman's case, there's a bunch of people in the stands that would have done the same thing that Bartman did, but everybody that would have done the same thing was still the first to blame him because that wasn't them in that situation. Now, the guy, the tight end that
Bostic.
did that, he is supposed to be on the front line. He's not supposed to grab the ball. He's supposed to be the first 4 guys that block the people that are coming, and the ball is supposed to go back to the other guys. And I've talked to numerous people about this. So
he wasn't supposed to try to catch it. He was supposed to block.
He's front line blocking everybody, and Jordy Nelson and all the hands guys are behind him. Even though he's a hands guy and a big guy, when the ball pops up in the air like that, he's supposed to block everybody else. And I think he got caught in an indecision. All of a sudden, boom, the ball pops up in the air, and he lost his head and said, well, maybe I should just grab it. And then,
but he was a tight end. With 2 hands.
But he's also a big guy that's going to block the people that are coming through.
Well.
So my point is that his little indecision cost him.
It was just like the water boy.
He played bad.
They kicked it to the right guy.
Yeah, right. He had a bad play. But then the series of events, Green Bay's defense still didn't have to give up a touchdown, and you have Clay Matthews and these other guys on the bench.
They scored in 24 seconds.
Yeah.
3 plays. Boom, boom, boom.
And it was unbelievable. And then even though they tied the game up, they still screwed up with catching the ball and moving the ball forward and having to kick a field goal where they could have scored a touchdown to win it. So it's just a series of events that screws up. But everybody's going to blame one play, and that's not the case. Plus the fact that if they could have scored from the 1 yard line twice in the first quarter, none of this ever would have happened.
I mean, Seattle's got a good defense, but I was just sort of astounded how they fell apart.
But it's just like the same thing. You throw a bunch of 1080s, you can't hit a double. Is it, what is it? Is it the fact that you threw well, or you just had a couple bad plays, or,
Well, yeah, I don't know. I kind of, that was crushing. That was brutal. I kind of hate the Packers, and I felt sorry for them. So
I did too. I was kind of torn. I wasn't sure who I wanted to win. I don't hate the Packers like most Bears fans do. I like Aaron Rodgers. I think he's great.
Yeah, he really showed me something playing on one leg.
So I was kind of like I didn't necessarily want to see Seattle going to the Super Bowl 2 years in a row, but I wasn't rooting against the Packers. But then at the end, being a Bear fan, it's kind of like I get a chuckle.
Win-win, yeah.
That they imploded.
It'll be. I think that's the best matchup of the 4 teams. So even though everybody's got their favorites, I think for uninvolved fans who don't have a horse in the race, the best matchup you could hope for would be Seattle's defense against
Brady,
against New England's offense. And then, to be honest, nobody talks about the Patriots' defense, and they got Revis out there, and they got Browner out there, and if their line holds up,
that's a big thing, Browner against his old team.
And Pete Carroll used to coach. I mean, there's a lot of kind of incestuous little links there, but we'll see if New England can stop the run.
Yeah.
If they can, if you can make Seattle throw like Green Bay did, they didn't look good.
No.
They sure didn't look good doing it. Anyway, this is not a football show, so let's move on. Somebody
asked in the chat, did we hear the good news about Jeff Smith? Do you know what they're talking about?
The good news about Jeff Smith, he might have gotten that invite to that tournament next month.
Oh,
that's probably what they're talking about. Jeff Smith was on. We gave him a whole hour last week. We can't turn it into the Jeff Smith hour every week, but we love Jeff.
No, it was just a question.
Just a question.
I didn't know if you knew what he was talking about. Because that's...
I'm assuming that's what he's talking
didn't
about.
Feel like offering more information. He just wanted to know if anybody knew what he was talking about.
Oh, okay.
Basically,
well, Hickory's is a clever guy. The other question that Hickory's maybe can answer is, does Robert Allenby play darts? Because
not right now. He can't see the dartboard.
Right. So we were talking before the show. You set it up. Why is Robert Allenby in the news this week?
Well, he's a golfer and he's playing
professional golfer.
Hyundai Tournament of Champions.
He missed the cut in a PGA Tour event in Honolulu.
Yeah. And then apparently, had a good time afterwards, went to a wine bar, and then was leaving. But apparently the story is he left with people he didn't know, and next thing you know, he ends up bloody and beaten and robbed.
It was like The Game with Michael Douglas. I mean, he literally kind of wakes up, beaten up, no money, left for dead. That's his story.
His story, and it was like 2 miles.
That's how his story started.
Piled him in a trunk and drove him 2 miles away. But somebody said
threw him out of a moving car. All this stuff.
Somebody says that he was like in the alley next to the bar. But anyway, the bottom line is he still got the snot beat out of him.
You see, you don't know that.
And his wallet taken.
Well, that's what we were talking about. Like, that's why I asked if he was a dart player. Because, things happen on the road at dart tournaments. And some people kind of, like, change the story to make themselves not look quite as culpable. Or maybe their judgment wasn't as impaired as it truly was. But I ran into a guy who... I was walking into this little tournament, and he was walking out, so we were kind of like doing the like little flyby hello, and I looked, and he looked like he got in a fight. His like face was all red and gashed, and there was like kind of started to heal over scratches and stuff like that. And I was like, "What happened to you?" And he just kind of shook his head and kept walking, and I'm thinking he's a huge guy.
Yeah,
I'd like to see who did that to him, right? Well, it turns out what happened was, what I heard was he was so drunk that he tripped over the ocky going to get his darts and went like face first into the bracket, holding up the standard, and oh my, timber, bloodied
himself.
And the minute I heard about this Robert Allenby thing, I'm like, he sounds like one of these darters who like oh, yeah, I got mugged.
Yeah.
See, if a darter at a tournament says he fell down the stairs, I believe him.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Absolutely.
I just thought it was kind of funny.
But I understand what you're saying. The darter that fell down the stairs is going to try and spin it so nobody knew he fell down the stairs.
Right. I mean, it's sort of usually,
it's
that's the excuse for
it's embarrassing enough, but I don't want it to be that embarrassing that I just kind of tripped over the Aki. That's only half inch high.
Well, apparently it grew. I mean, I've been tackled by the turf monster. I mean, you do slip sometimes.
The thing about it, though, is you trip over the Aki, you don't just fall down. You actually have enough balance to take 3 steps and smack yourself into the board.
Yeah, it was sort of I don't know, lost his balance. Can I say? So this was my warning to women, and this is like the serious dart part of the show.
Don't trip over the Aki?
No. We're changing the subject.
Okay.
I just thought the Robert Allenby thing was funny. Because I can imagine a dart player coming up with a story like that.
Sure.
When in all actuality, it was probably something else happened. But no, the women who play FIFA World Cup soccer actually filed a lawsuit against FIFA, which is Federation International Football, so whatever it is.
Yeah.
Because they're playing the Women's World Cup in Canada, and some of the stadiums have AstroTurf. And the women felt that the guys aren't taking them seriously, and so they're getting substandard playing conditions to play on, and they should have the same good stadiums the guys have. It's basically their argument. They went to the press. They got the highest profile players like Abby Wambach to champion their cause. They got media attention. They sued in some court to get FIFA to change. And just the other day, the women dropped their lawsuit and claimed victory.
How's that possible?
Well, see, that's why this is my warning to the.
What's the victory?
This is my warning to
out?
women American darters: is keep fighting. The women, apparently, a couple of international women that joined the cause were threatened with sanctions from their home organizations, right? And so they're bailing. Well, what the women in those other countries should have said is that, well, if she doesn't go, none of us are going. Mm-hmm. You have to have some unity if you're going to get some things changed. Like this weekend, and we'll do this later in the show, we'll pick winners for the club championship, the cricket championship the ADO's having in Vegas. There's, 36 guys, 17 women? 17 women.
Right.
17 women ought to all stand there at 9 o'clock in the morning on Friday and say, you are seeding these brackets right now. Here's our seeding. Here's the 8 people we're seeding. You put 2 in each bracket. Everyone else draws, or we're not playing. And not only are we not playing, no one is ever going to play in this event again. And if they did that, they would probably succeed.
Okay.
Because you're going to have all the ADO officers there. And
well,
insist
how is that
on
going
a
to change
change.
anything?
Well, it would change the fact that what happens to the women is they end up with the best 5 women in one bracket. So you play the knockout round robin, and then 2 people from each bracket advance. So people are getting kind of a free ride into the next round because it's not fair to have loaded brackets. So you're not evening out the field and giving people an equal chance of winning. You don't do that in sports. You don't not seed stuff. Mm-hmm. Right? Who doesn't seed? What sport doesn't seed?
I can't think of any.
They all do.
I can't think of a one.
They all do. So, I mean, if the women got together, these 17 women, I know some of them, but I don't know all of them, if they all got together Thursday night, Friday morning and said, look, this is what we want, this is what we're going to do, we're going to go insist on this, I would think they'd be able to get it done. I would think the 36 guys, which to me is a small field, would all get together and do the same thing and say, look, we're not playing this unless you seed it. Mm-hmm. And, we may not even play in any of the doubles events this weekend or whatever. Just say, look, this is what we want. Give it to us or we're not playing. You'll get it. The women didn't do that.
Right.
Instead, they issued a press release claiming victory and went away.
But
and they're going to play on
victory?
AstroTurf.
Yeah, I don't know.
There wasn't one. It's media spin. Hey, look, we got all this attention to our cause and la-di-da-di-da-di-da. They got nothing.
Things will change a
they
couple years from now. Yeah.
Don't surrender.
Right.
If it was important enough to sue and important enough to fight for, then it's important enough not to quit. Mm-hmm. That's all I'm saying. But again, it's the unanimity of the players that makes the difference. That's why Major League Baseball players get like gobs and gobs and gobs of money, and football players don't.
Right.
Because the football players don't get together and insist on stuff. Remember what? Replacement players? I mean, the NFL couldn't keep doing that. The players caved. Right? They're short-sighted.
Right. Oh, yeah.
I know they have short careers and everything, but, guaranteed contracts
the
and
collective
everything.
bargaining agreement between baseball and football is just
But because
huge.
baseball, the players' union is unanimous. They don't have people crossing. I mean, it's like, hey, we ain't playing. Mm-hmm. They cancel the World Series.
Yeah.
Okay, this is what we need. You have to have players to play. You can't just get people off the street and say, yeah, anybody can play this game.
Right.
Right? Which is what basically the NFL said. I mean, it's just, that's the reality. So, players that want change need to get together and say, we want change. Sure. And to be honest with you, this is the one tournament that you could really do it because the ADO has like a board meeting. They fly people in there for the board meeting. So all the ADO officers are there. They could take a vote right there in the morning. Mm-hmm. And I don't know why the women don't do it. I mean, the guys field is deep enough where it isn't going to affect you that much because there's always, if you have 8 brackets, some of them are going to be heavy. Even if it's seeded. I mean, some of them are going to be heavy. But there's no reason the ADO can't use their own rankings and seed people.
Right.
Hey, you want to see the rankings? I'll show you on your website where your rankings are. Why don't you use them?
What is the purpose that the ADO chooses not to seed?
I don't know.
Do they
Why is water wet?
Well,
I mean, I don't know. I don't know why they come up with what they come up with. Maybe it was laziness 30 years ago that's solidified into tradition. I don't know.
Do you think that they think that's a better way to run a tournament, or they just say, or you think they're just going?
If they think it's a better way to run a tournament, then they're idiots.
Okay,
that's not how you run a tournament.
This is just the way we've done it for so many years. We're not going to change.
You'd have to ask them. You'd have to ask them. I mean, but if I was a player, this is what I would want. Like if I was playing in this thing, I don't play in these anymore, but this is an opportunity. These people can do it. And actually the numbers are small enough now where it'd be a little easier to organize. Mm-hmm. You know? And especially the women just every year, it's just like, you got to be kidding me, because we're trying to pick winners, and it's like we're hosed.
Yeah.
Our top 4 people all played in the round robin, so 2 of them are out already. Mm-hmm. It's not like we don't know who the good players are. And we may not be that accurate picking winners, but we'll pick them in a little bit. Where are we on time?
We're ready for a break.
All right, we're going to take a break. We're going to come back. We'll review the PDC tour cards, and some of our favorite people got tour cards, right?
Yeah.
So we'll tell you who those guys are, and we'll pick a winner for the cricket thing. Sound good?
Cricket thing.
Yes. Yeah. I
yes.
don't know what to call it. You're listening to Dart Talk with Mystery Mark. Steve Ponciano will be right back.
Dart Talk agrees to adhere to the Geneva Convention in treating fairly its prisoners in their war against lackluster darting administration and behaviour.
Hey, back for the second half of Dart Talk, brought to you by the Dart Zone.
Stay in the zone.
DartZone.com is an official Cosmo distributor. Also, many thanks, Windy City Fabricators and Redwood Darts. I got an interesting email right before the show, but I guess we're not going to talk about that.
Well, thanks for bringing it up then. That's great.
Breaking news next week.
Okay.
The PDC tour card thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There were some interesting names that I saw. The people coming over from the BDO. First off, I like the fact that the Saint is back. Alan Tabern got his card.
Right,
he's been hacking away at it. He hasn't had much success, but he's going to keep playing. Who else did we see in there that we thought? Joey Tenberge.
Yeah, Ken McNeil.
He shut me out in the final. And Ken McNeil, friend of the show. Ken's been on the show, right?
He's in there.
And Haruki.
You mentioned James Wilson.
Yeah, I'm dying to see how he does. He had an early exit from Lakeside, but I was really impressed with his game last year. He lost the final, I think, to Bunting, or he lost top 4, whatever it was. But it was Bunting's year. I'll be interested to see how he does, because I think he's one of these guys that's capable of, throwing 100 average for 10, 12, 15 legs, whatever. That's rare. So that'll be interesting. Kenny McNeil, I wonder how often. Maybe we should try to get him on the show. I'm wondering how often he's going to be able to get over there. Same with Miramatsu. Like Royden Lamb got his tour card, and I think he played once.
Oh, really?
So what?
Right. That's what you said about Miramatsu.
Yeah, why get a tour card on a tour you can't play?
Right.
I guess it's great. You could put on your resume you want a tour card, but then you could throw it in the trash or frame it. I don't know.
Is it possible they go there just to play darts?
Yeah, well, if you're going to go over there and play once, why play a tournament for the right to go there and play
No,
once?
I mean just the qualifying, to have,
I mean, I guess.
Competitive succession of darts. And
it just doesn't make any sense to try to qualify for something you can't play.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Unless they're doing it as practice for whatever they're going to do in the future. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm just
speculating.
To
figure out if there's any reasonable
continuous darts against high competition, and they're going to use that towards whatever they're going to do the rest of the year. And they get their tour card. Great. They don't really care, but they're really doing it from a competitive
just
standpoint.
to see if they can. Yeah. Okay. I'll buy that. That makes sense.
Where else
for
are you
going to
be able to throw that? Play that competition for that extended time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. I guess that's a good reason to do it. It just seems kind of like silly. But yeah.
But if Muramatsu can't find that kind of competitive darts around him for.
Well, they've got darts in Japan,
I
but
know,
not at that level.
That's what I'm saying. So he's going to go, all right, I'm going to go do it. And if I get my tour card, I can't really use it anyway, but at least I get to play a high competition.
I guess once you get the tour card, you can go to your sponsors and say, hey, now can you send me here and there and do this
happens.
And do that. So they better get to it. The beginning of the year is very busy. All the UK Open qualifiers and the PDPA events and stuff going on.
Yeah.
So
there's a bunch of names on this list. Most of them I do not know. But
we saw Alan Norris through his second 9. Did I get this right? He threw 2 9-darters in a week against the same guy?
That's what it said.
And he didn't get kneecapped. That guy, I hope he's not a Packer fan.
Just like, you got to be kidding me.
I hope he's not a Packer fan. He did it to you again? I mean, saran wrap him in his car.
Alan Norris was on the list. And,
Robbie Green's going over. Yeah, Jeff mentioned that he was going to be going over. So I guess it worked out good because, he earned the card that, he would have gotten the invitation had he beaten Jeff, but he didn't beat Jeff, but he still got his card. Mm-hmm. So kind of win-win.
Right.
Worked out best for both of them that way, although he had to, play a little longer. It's kind of interesting names there. Devin Peterson is back. Trying to read over your shoulder. Lee Palfreyman I like. He's a good guy. Who else is there? A lot of Englishmen, looks like. A lot of Englishmen, some Dutch guys. Yeah, it'll be fun. So, I don't know. The PDC, they keep getting deeper. Their field is pretty deep now. If you look at like how the PGA Tour was before they went all exempt, where you had the Rabbits on Monday qualifying, and you look at the all exempt tour now, I mean, look at the 110th guys, awfully good golfers.
Sure.
Well, how
many times on the PGA Tour does the also ran who got the exempt because the one guy drops out? Next thing you know, he's in the top 10.
Yeah, it's...
he wasn't even going to play.
Yeah.
He was waiting for 4 guys to drop out. They drop out. He gets to play, and next thing you know, he makes the top 10. And then therefore now all of a sudden he's exempt for 4 straight tournaments or whatever it is. But
yeah, I think the PDC system is working good for the PDC. Mm. And I was going to actually do a segment of 10 things the PDC could do to help themselves, and maybe we'll save that for another time because there's a couple of things that I think if they did it would kind of help them, in their quest to, grow darts as a competitive sport throughout, the Western world or, whatever, throughout the televised world. Be kind of interesting.
Well, we'll table that for another day.
Yeah. Because, something else came up and I had to, that's what I get for looking at my email. I know one thing at the top of my list was to expand the qualifiers, make them longer matches, because I think now you're getting enough talent in the qualifying matches to make it worthwhile. Mm-hmm. Fly halfway around the world to play best of 7 is like, I don't think so. Why I won't travel to go play best of 3. I just don't think it's worthwhile.
Well, sure, right.
I'm reluctant to go to the bar league and play best of 3, but I have no choice. Although you were supposed to mock your follow through on the show. Remind me.
We could spend more. We could spend 3 shows mocking my darts.
No, I don't know. You played all right. I mean, you just sort of it was a hard night to get comfortable.
No, it's just obvious. I need more board time. Not in the league.
Let's play after the show.
Not legs. Well, I also need some sleep, but
sleep's overrated.
But it was I had a long week and weekend where I didn't have time to even play on the board. I
lost your edge.
And I just we both mentioned 2 weeks ago about where the beginning of the year one of your goals was to throw on the board every day, and I said once I was joining your league that I was gonna do my best to at least throw a little bit every day. And then we played darts last Tuesday. I threw about for 15 minutes on Thursday, and I was gone all weekend. And next thing you know,
it's amazing.
Monday night I tried to throw some darts, and I'm like, it was like I was brass. Nothing was going anywhere close.
It was painful to watch.
Oh, and so then Tuesday night we played, and I got a little better from. But I just need more board time. I
do too, for that matter.
Competitive aspect I need as well because I don't have that. But that's not that. That would be more towards hitting outs and closing out games where you need that competitiveness in the games that you're playing. The board time I need to be consistent to at least just remotely come close to my target. Repeatedly. I mean, yes, every now and then I can throw, but it's just
it's tough.
Last week I didn't throw. I threw okay. This week I threw like a few rounds that were okay, but not like games. I just threw a few rounds that actually happened to help at certain times. But
the 121 helped.
Yeah.
Yep.
For the most part, it was bad. It was just really bad, and it's board time. I know it. And I need to throw more.
I am throwing like less than I ever have since I started playing, and it's kind of funny. I mean, thinking about how much I used to play, and then looking at how little I play now, I'm astounded. So I'm going to try to turn that around. It's time. I mean, we got stuff to play for now. I finally figured out what tournaments I'm going to play this year.
Oh, that's good.
So it only took 4 months.
Were you waiting for them to identify?
Well, I was waiting to see what this CDC thing was, if it was going to happen, and what it was going to be like, and whether or not I was going to play it. I mean, I said I would play it. In principle, it seemed like it was okay.
So you are going to play
it? Like a good idea. It looks like it, yeah. It looks like if it comes off the way it's supposed to come off, I think it's going to be awesome. Yeah, I think it's going to be awesome. We'll talk more about that. We'll get one of those guys. Who haven't we get? Maybe we'll try to get David Ireed on the show. I don't think he's ever been on the show. He's one of the principals.
Right.
He might be a fun interview. Well, I'll effort that. Anyway, let's do the ADO cricket thing. Let's pick the winners. There's 36 men. You want to read them off?
All right. Well, let's read them off real quick.
Add the nicknames if we know what they are.
Yeah, good chance with that. Tim Adams.
Sniper guy. What did we call him? Did we have a nickname?
For Tim Adams? Not that I know of.
Did we call him Shutout or Clean or the Sweeper? And then it turned out he didn't sweep all the events. Is that what we call him? Sweeper? All right, anyway, go ahead. Tim Adams from Florida.
Craig Aiken.
He's been on the show, okay.
Jason Bond. Jason Brandon.
Jason Brandon. Okay.
Chuck Brousseau. Larry Butler. Larry the Butler did it, I believe we
Is
said
that
at one point.
Yeah, that's not a very good nickname.
Wyatt Castle, Joe
Chainsaw?
Chainsaw
Joe
Cheney.
Right.
David Fathom.
All right.
David Flowers. Kyle Gauthier. Ram Guevara. Was there a nickname for Ram Guevara? I don't remember.
I think Ram's his nickname.
Yes. Yeah. Frank Hernandez. Pat Hewitt. Joe Huffman. Joe hits a lot of triples.
I think it's Boom Boom, but yeah, Joe hits a lot of triples.
In my mind, it will always be Joe hits a lot of triples, whether he likes it or not. Jeff Leonard, Chris Linkus, Wes Lippert, J.D. Newman, Tim Nickel, Paul Olson, Sean Palmer, Robbie Phillips. Do we have a nickname for Robbie Phillips? I don't think so. I don't remember it.
No.
Chuck Puleo, I think it is. Levi Remick, Mike Roundtree, Tom Sawyer. What was Tom Sawyer?
Charles.
Oh, okay.
Do we have a nickname for Sawyer?
I don't think so. I thought we might have, but I don't recall it now.
Huckleberry?
Robert Schatz. What a great dart name. Robert
It's
Schatz.
got to be pretty up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Robert Schatz has to be either that or a bartender. Yeah.
Well, I mean, but it goes hand
Yeah,
in hand.
it
You know,
sure
shots
does.
for both. You're right. Anyway, where did I leave off? Ken Swanson, Sam Vaquera, Andrew Van Coverden, Greg Van Lynen, Paul Wheeler, Jim Widmeyer, Scott Wollaston, and John Yinger are your
John Yinger.
36 men.
Okay, well, who do you like?
Ooh, well,
Give me your top 4.
I got to put Larry Butler up there. I got to put it's cricket, so I think I got to put Joe Huffman because he hits a lot of triples.
Joe hits a lot of triples.
I don't know, how's Tom Sawyer playing lately. He seemed to be up there.
He's
for
pretty.
A while.
He's a pretty good cricket player. He's he always to me looks pretty relaxed. But then again, anybody I've beaten, I don't think is that good of a player. No, Tom's a good shot. Tom is definitely going to have a chance to. He definitely has a chance to win.
Let me see. I guess I would say, maybe I'll throw a guy that I've heard before, David Fadum.
Oh yeah,
I'll throw him in there.
you're going to throw Fadum in there.
Butler, Fadum,
And Huffman, you said, right?
Huffman,
Fadum, Butler.
and I don't know if I'm going to go Sawyer. Let's see. I'll go with, I'll throw Jim Widmeyer in there.
Let's throw Wid. So Wid, Butler, Huffman, and Fadum. All right, so I'll pick 4 different ones, and we'll see
All right.
who does better. Scroll back to the top. Oh, I'll take Chainsaw.
Okay.
He's a cricket playing fool. See who else is at the top there. Yeah, you know what? I don't know. I like Pat Hewitt's game. I just, he might spend a little more time in enjoying the sights of Vegas. I don't know.
Okay.
If he. I don't know how seriously he takes it. I know he's serious when he takes it at the line. I don't know if he's one of these guys that's really geeked up to win this thing, or if it's just like, hey, I'm going to Vegas and playing darts. It's going to be great. Kind of. I don't know what his attitude is, so I can't. Okay, I took off my glasses. Now I totally can't see. Who did I say? I said. Did I
Chainsaw.
All right, I'll take and Robbie Phillips.
Chainsaw Phillips.
I'll take. Go a little younger. Chainsaw Phillips. You didn't take Sawyer.
No.
He almost threw a 9-darter there like a couple years ago.
Really?
He was supposed to get like $10,000. He missed the bull or something. All right, I'll take Sawyer. So
Okay.
Sawyer, Phillips. You got to help me here, man. Who am I taking? I had Sawyer, I had Phillips,
And
Chainsaw.
Chainsaw.
Sawyer, Cheney, Phillips, and I need one more.
Yeah.
Let's see. Well, I'm not taking Andrew Van Coverden because he won't listen to me about his nickname. He's supposed to be A5K,
right?
And he won't do it. So, heck with him.
So yeah, you can't pick him.
Can't pick him.
No way.
You know what? How about I'll take Greg Van Lynen.
Okay.
He's a good player, and
And I'm going to take. I want an also ran. My also ran. I'm going to take Robert Schatz just for his name.
oh, okay,
Because I'm going to root for him.
and you're gonna take one guy to root for because of his
Yeah,
name.
yeah.
Okay. I will. You know what? I don't know. You shouldn't call him an also ran. Because I like Jason Brandon.
yeah, that's a wrong way of putting it.
I like Jason. So I don't know. Is Jason Brandon it's not as good a dart name as Shots.
Right.
Who else
Right.
is in there? Ram. It won't really win. Linkus.
No, out of all these names, that's the best dart name right there. Shots.
Yeah, I don't really. Well, if you're going to take somebody just to root for, I'll root for Jason. I'll take
Okay, there
Jason
you
Brandon
go.
on that
There
one.
you go.
Okay, so let's do the women.
And yeah,
Who's
all right.
playing in the women's?
We got 17 finalists, starting with Kendra Archbold, Lisa Ayers, Betty Cunningham, Charlie Daniel. All right.
Good player.
Wendy Fuentes, I'm sorry. Is that
Looks like it.
Fuertes? Fuertes. Anyway. Bianca Gentry, Valerie Goad, Irene Goodman, Sandy Hudson, Marlise Keel, Jennifer Lysick, Morgan McCormick, Brenda Rausch, Nicole Rowell, Corinne Stockton, Shannon Vittel, or is it Vittel, and Kelly West.
We'll take 2.
I will take
This is like the NFL
I will take
Pro Bowl draft that no one's watching.
Betty Cunningham
Okay.
and Callie West.
I was going to take Callie.
Of course you were.
All right. I will take, let's see. You know what? I will take Morgan and Valerie.
I thought about taking Morgan.
I'll take
McCormick.
Morgan. I'll take Morgan McCormick and Valerie.
Valerie
Goad.
Yeah.
And wish them all luck. We wish everybody luck. We hope everybody plays
Well, sure,
well.
absolutely.
And I'm sure it'll be a good event.
It's not like I have any money on them.
I don't know. You know, I've played these things. They're fun to play.
We're
It's
way
mentally,
overdue for a break, by the
is
way.
it? Okay, it's mentally tiring, but a lot of fun, these round robin followed by knockouts. I kind of like that format. Okay, we'll be back for one more segment. You listen to Dart Talk with Mystery Mark, Steve Ponciamon. We'll be right back.
You are now and forevermore warned that you consume this show at your own risk, and that Dart Talk cannot be brought to justice in any court or by any government, including and not restricted to the grand spaghetti monster of the Triple 20.
Okay, back for the fourth quarter of Dart Talk, brought to you by the Dart Zone.
Stay in the zone.
TheDartZone.com is an official Cosmo distributor. Also, many thanks, Windy City Fabricators, Redwood Darts, in the chat room. You have to quote Hickory's in the chat room. That was funny.
I was out of the chat for a little bit because we were running through the names for the cricket tournament, but we were going back to the seeding.
Yeah, because I basically think if a tournament isn't seeded, then
Right.
People aren't really trying to run a tournament.
We mentioned, what sport does not seed?
Right.
None. They all seed them anyway. And
Right.
the great Hickory's, with his quote, said, even farmers seed their fields. And then he admittedly says, although in truth, that's more of an agricultural thing rather than a sport, so not sure that helps the argument. But he makes a good point, I think.
Maybe it's just a time of night, but that just
It's
cracked
funny.
me up.
It's funny.
Even farmers seed their fields. I mean, if everybody had that on a T-shirt and walked into to the ADO thing on Friday, get a selfie of that, and I will literally die laughing.
The 17
you want to really get rid of the show. That's the way to do it.
The 17 women, you want them to all stand up and say, we're not doing this unless you seed. If they all had shirts that said, even farmers seed their fields, simple enough. That's it.
Oh, my God. That would be so funny.
And then they stood there and said, this is what we want, with T-shirts that said that. That would be great.
Well, we'll try to get one of the players from Vegas to come on the show next week. It's usually, pretty good Saturday. The 501's usually got a pretty good field. Like Whitlock's been there. I know Newton's been there. A lot of the Canadians come down. I know Jeff Smith will be there. Anybody chasing, Lakeside points will be there. Congrats, by the way, to Jimmy Widmer for winning in Philly.
Mm-hmm.
He won the BDO event
kind
there.
Kind of a small field for the Ray Chesney, huh?
It looked small to me. I don't keep track. I don't keep stats, but it seems like it was a little light compared to what I've seen there before. I've seen like 250.
Whitmer beat Larry Butler, though, for the championship, right?
Well, yeah, so he gets more BDO points in his quest to go back to Lakeside for his third straight year.
Yeah.
And then the World Trophy, Jeff Smith got his invite, so good for him.
Yep.
It's going to be interesting to see how many guys chase Lakeside points. It's kind of, I don't remember if it was Stacy Bromberg. I was talking to her a few years ago, and she said, you know what, don't worry about stuff like that. Just go to the tournaments you want to go to and try to win as much money as you can. But I don't know that I really buy that. I think I was talking to our newcomer of the year, actually, last night. And, she was talking about going to tournaments. I was telling her about Virginia Beach because I like that tournament so much. And they have the long format, singles for the women now on Friday. And I was telling her, well, you should probably look into seeing, if you can get BDO points and try to qualify to go to Lakeside. She's like, well, how do you do that? And I'm kind of like thinking, that's a good question. That should be on somebody's website. Mm-hmm. How to chase ADO points. Here's the tournaments to go to. Right. And it shouldn't be where, hard to find. And yet it is.
Yeah.
And I remember somebody...
Yeah, it should be common knowledge.
Yeah, everybody should know.
Everybody should know. I mean, how do you make...
it? And obviously, if there aren't that many people willing to do it, it's not our job. Mm-hmm. But I'm just...
Well, no, but you would think the BDO would want as many people out there chasing BDO points, right?
Well,
Wouldn't you want as many players out there?
Well, you would think that the ADO, who has BDO affiliated events, would want as many people coming to their events
to chase BDO points. Yeah. And they would put it out on the website. This is how you chase BDO by coming to our tournament.
Again, everything is
my tournament. All these ADO tournaments, you could chase BDO
Well, but
points.
the tournaments are all disconnected from each other. The common thing they have is the ADO. Mm-hmm. And what does the ADO do?
Nothing.
Well, you tell me. All I know is it's like she basically was saying, well, should I become like an ADO member? And I said no. I said they don't do anything with the points, and if you get high enough on the list, then Arachnid's going to slap you on their pro list. So don't. What do you get for it? You get punished. Don't do it.
Mm-hmm. Somebody in the chat wants to know what tournaments did you pick?
I am going to Shoot the Moon in Huntsville for, I don't know, the 4th straight year, I think, something like that. I'm going to go to Nashville. I'm going to go to Virginia Beach. I'm going to play all the CDC events.
Okay.
I may
they're
may
not
go
set
to
in
Indianapolis
stone yet, right?
Well, no, we have dates.
The CDC does have dates.
They sent dates.
Oh,
I got them like half hour before the show.
Okay.
So we can talk about that next week because it's interesting. There's going to be they have locations too. There's going to be one outside of Dayton. Not a big fan of Dayton, but
it's outside of Dayton, so you don't.
One
have to
outside of
about
Dayton, one outside of Ann Arbor.
Oh.
One in Indianapolis and one in St. Louis.
All
and
right.
I actually know the venue in St. Louis. So that'll be interesting. I mean, for me, it's kind of like I'm fortunate insofar as the standards they're using are in my hometown.
Mm-hmm.
So, they're not going to, they'll be reasonable drives.
Yeah.
Because Cetera's, I think, the guy in charge of bringing the standards, and they're stored in Chicago, so they can't have the guy driving 15 hours with the standards. So, but I'm going to, as soon as I find out about it.
You got Huntsville, you got Nashville, you got...
Indianapolis likely is the week before Virginia Beach.
Open.
Yeah, hopefully it won't be that way. I've always enjoyed that tournament.
And
I just
Beach,
didn't go last year.
Okay.
Yeah, Virginia Beach.
There's the 4 CDCs, and then there's...
there's the 4 CDCs plus the 2 others, so there's actually 6 of the CDCs. And then I'll have to see if I can work in... I haven't heard back from Heckman about whether there's going to be an America's Tour on Darts Live again. Because I would play at least some of the local ones. I don't think I'd fly to Hawaii for it. Tempting.
Yes, of course it is.
Well, if my buddy moves out to... I got a buddy who says he's moving out there.
To Hawaii?
Yeah.
Really?
I'm like, get a big couch.
Yeah. Big comfy couch.
Get a big couch and I'll come visit.
Yeah, right.
That reminds me.
That's still an expensive flight, though.
I need a digital copy of the picture of me boogie boarding.
Okay.
That's your assignment
Is
for
that my
next week.
picture? Do I have that, or does Tracy
No,
have
Goofy's got it.
Okay.
Goofy has it. So I kind of want that.
Okay.
Because it's a joke. I have to send it to somebody. Are we good for everything else? Next week, did we hit everything? Any tips? Okay, that's for next week.
What are the CDCs, real quick, for this guy that...
What are they?
Yeah, well, I guess it would be what is the CDC and what
we
it's
did a
all
whole
about.
show on that.
Well, apparently Chai Texan does not know.
Okay,
just
the
real quick.
Championship Dart Circuit is basically, they're going to start a pro tour this year in America of long format 501 steel tip darts.
There you go.
They're going to have a tour card.
Midwest venues, basically.
There's. I just rattled them off. St.
Yeah.
Louis, Dayton, Ohio,
Ann Arbor,
Michigan, and Indianapolis. Yeah.
Right.
So there'll be more. It's going to be basically they're going to have tour cards, but then you can go to the events and qualify if you don't have a tour card and play in the qualifiers. So I think we'll probably try to get a Chicago
They have a
guys.
website, right?
Yeah, I'm sure they do.
I mean, Google CDC. See what you get.
Don't get me started. Well, I literally got the final email like right before the show, so I can't. I shouldn't be mentioning it, but
we'll talk more about it next week. But
Yeah.
he just wanted to know what the CDC was, and so that was a brief synopsis of what it is. And
Okay.
it's somebody's. It's a
they wouldn't change the name.
collaboration. It's a collaboration of some people trying to get some major darts and
They want to start a professional dart tour.
right.
Yeah, professional dart tour.
It's going to try and start this year.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. But I'm going to support it as best I can. So,
And that's one of their goals is getting major dart players from around the Midwest to support it and get it kickstarted. Right?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of weird. I'm putting my tournament schedule together, and it's kind of like, am I going to go to Cleveland? Am I going to go here? Am I going to go there? Usually, I go to all the tournaments I can drive to, but now I'm of the opinion that I'm like, well, I'm going to go to the tournaments. I'm going to go to every long format 501 tournament I can find, and then I'll see what else I can do. That's
right.
kind of how my priorities have shifted since 3 years ago.
Yeah.
When we
much.
started like the NWDS thing and all that other stuff, and then all the PDC stuff, I always play that stuff. It's, going out on the East Coast for the Diddle Tour, I'll do what I can.
Right.
We'll see how it works out. So anyway, I got to email all that to Cosmo. Anyway, thanks thanks for listening. Great chat room tonight, guys. We'll be back. This is our new time now, 8:30 Central on Wednesdays. Gives Mark a little more time to clean up after work. And we'll have some stuff for you next week.
We hope.
You out? You good? We'll have Super Bowl picks next week.
Oh, yeah, there
Mark
we
will
go.
prognosticate for you. And we'll see how smart we were about the cricket thing this weekend. I don't even know who we picked, so.
Well, no, we'll have to listen
We'll have to go back. I hope you mark the time. Anyway, thanks everybody for listening. Take care. We will dart talk to you next week.